So yeah, we good, bro. We live. We live,
Yes,
man.
indeedy.
Welcome back. Welcome back to another live episode of the Social Impact Plight of the Black Man in America. With it's your boy Deontay Cooley with my co-host Malcolm Pulliam. What's going on, bro? How you feeling, man?
Bro, we won here last week. I know we got a good one today.
Yeah, man. We definitely missed a week. Yeah, I had some things going. Listen, and I was at the I was at the Erie Club picnic, man. That's where I was at last week, where I didn't get a chance to. We didn't get a chance to go live, but listen, man, it was a lot of great people. It was a great environment, and that was my second time going, so I definitely enjoyed the opportunity to be there. It was an opportunity, it was networking. It was just like, again, I'm not a member of the Erie Club, so I was invited. Somebody got me a ticket, so yeah, that's why we went live last week. It was my fault, y'all, man. I was at a picnic.
Look, how was that food?
I didn't eat none of it.
Oh, I forgot.
I get
Bro,
down,
it's
man.
vegan.
So listen, what I did was when I go to Watermere, I go to the potato patch. They got the fresh cut French fries back
Right.
there. So all I ate was but the spread was crazy.
Was it?
I mean, so they had like a steak out. They had steak. They had lobster. I think they had like spare ribs. It was wings. It was oysters.
Oh, they did it big.
Shrimp. Like, yeah, no, this was like, I mean, it's Erie Club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they got some money over there at the Erie Club. So, when you pay for the ticket, you get a ticket for either lobster or steak.
Yes.
Like, that's your main entree. But it's like buffet style stations. Like, it's a wing station over there, rib station over there, and a shrimp and it's oysters and all of that. So yeah, it was definitely something to
It
see.
sound tasty.
And then, bro, like the people that was there, like
Let's get into it.
anybody who is considered somebody was there, and it was like everybody was just having a good time. So I enjoyed being there for that, and then the conversations that I had with people from that event,
Yeah.
like it carried over into let's have some follow-up discussions, let's have some follow-up meetings. So
Right.
it's a lot of people who do a lot of different things. So it wasn't really a business thing, but it was a business thing because it was an opportunity to network and
That
see people at
networking.
like they.
I
Excuse me,
know
their
you.
natural
I
state.
know you network.
Yeah, man, I definitely was networking. I was enjoying the setting too because tired.
Right.
When I say tired, bro, I mean like in a good way. You know what I mean? Because
Uh-huh.
it's so many different things going on, and there's so many different people wanting to have conversations about things that's
Right.
going on in Erie and things that's going on outside of Erie,
Yeah.
as well as like people that's willing to do the work. So
Right.
like it's just constant go, go, go. But it's all been good, man. It's been
Yeah.
a good upward, positive, progressive, informative journey.
Right.
And then like to be there and to see the people, I guess at least from my eyes, and this is what I will say, to not see but to recognize the people who weren't there, who I feel like should have been there or should be not, I guess even for that event exactly, but the people who need to be congregating amongst those people in the city is like, we can do a lot better, but we did. It was like, a couple of the guys we sat around, there's a couple of guys that, it was me, I was there, Marcus was there, Craig was there, Gerald Blanks was there. I mean, I'm just naming like black people. And some of the
Right.
people we was like kicking it with. Corey Cook was
Right.
there, Mr. Rush was there. I seen, who else? I seen Selena King was in there. So yeah, I mean, as far as like representation, we definitely was represented in there.
Good.
And it was a good time. And it was plenty of more people to name, but so yeah, that's where I was at last Thursday, man. So yeah, that's what I was doing. But outside of that, a lot of good things, a lot of great things, a lot of fantastic things I believe are going to be happening around here.
Yes. And I think we need to, because I've been paying attention to what you got going on as far as you've been spreading your wings across the city, bro.
I mean, yeah, just been
And-
connecting with people who
Yes. And
care.
What did I tell you as we was walking in here? If you're not paying attention to what Brother Deontay is bringing to the table in Erie, Pennsylvania, and opening eyes so that people understand that it's a lot of moving parts here.
Oh, yeah.
In this city.
Oh yeah,
It's a lot of money moving.
yeah,
He has been dropping some jewels
man.
on Facebook, on social media, in private dealings with others.
I mean, it's been
suggest that-
public too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It ain't just been private dealings. It's been
Right.
public too. You know what I mean? Because it ain't been no like no backdooring or no secrets being shared. And it's more or less like that's why, as far as like spreading that information, is why I talk about it so
Yeah.
much, because I was having a conversation with somebody before I came down here. Like, it's $100 million is coming to the city to invest in the redevelopment of Erie.
Right.
And what we do oftentimes is we'll just complain about the things that aren't happening, or we'll complain about the things that, we don't see or we aren't getting, and plans are moving forward and progress is moving forward. So more or less what I'm doing nowadays is just like, Hey y'all, listen. While we complain, let's take a look at some of the things that's really happening. Because if you ride around this, I was just on the phone. You ride around the city of Erie on a bicycle, you're gonna see construction.
Yeah.
You're gonna see construction everywhere, redevelopment everywhere. I'm talking about from things being built from the ground up to things being developed on the inside. And if we can figure out a way to where we can get involved with that, you talk about $100 million being invested in the city of Erie.
Yeah.
I don't care what the person look like. The money is green, and we need to be starting to look at it like that as well, because there are opportunities and funds available for not even just a black thing, an inner city thing, and people who live in Erie who are struggling, who have the ability to at least get involved in some of those conversations. And that's on so many different levels.
Right.
Because then even you think about, they talking about them ships coming, 2028 ships coming up here to dock. So like, I think a lot of us will look at it on the entertainment aspect like, that's not for us. There's nothing for us, right? But imagine if you sell something as simple as beaded bracelets.
Absolutely.
I love Erie beads. So when that ship come here and it dock and people come, you selling them bead bracelets for $5, $3, whatever you selling them for. Like, we need to start looking at the opportunities of the economic impacts that are happening here, as opposed to, complaining about what we didn't get or what we aren't getting, and figure out better ways to take advantage of the opportunities that are coming, because opportunities are coming no matter whether we agree with them or not, or we believe it or not. Like, it's real.
Yeah. And you know, one thing that you're making clear, that you're also trying to establish, that it could be some training to get you in these doors. So if you're not an electrician or a carpenter, it's going to be some available training for you to learn to step into these $100 million projects that are coming into the city.
And from the conversations that I have been having, these trainings are available. It's not even about them coming. They are available now. And I've had a couple conversations with some of the union heads around Erie, the plumbers union, and then it was a carpenters union, construction workers union, excuse me. And there's a certain, like, it was a union agent.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they were just telling me the way the program works. And it's a lot of different unions that have like different schedules to where the testing and stuff come. But then there's the actual training facility up. I'm about to go toward the training facility, but there's a training facility where it's like they're going to have 6-week programs to where, like, free of charge, like, come learn how to, deal with the tools and things like that. But so, yeah, there's a lot of opportunities coming, and there's a lot of things that people can take advantage of that already are here.
Right.
And as you learn these things, it's like, we got to start spreading this information and understand how the long term game of some of this stuff.
Right.
And it's, again, so many different levels. So this isn't just, hey, if you have a trade, go take a class. Because when you think about people coming here, you think about tourism. And then even when they talk about the real estate, like Erie was the #2 in the nation or something like that, I've seen on social media. So there are millions and millions and millions of dollars being funneled, pushed through, moved around the city of Erie, Pennsylvania. And there are so many different ways that we as a people can access these funds and benefit from these opportunities that are coming. We just need to see it as it is, and you know what I mean? Not act like it's not a thing.
Right.
So that's what, like, some of the conversations that I have been having, and then sharing that stuff publicly on social media. Like, none of it is a secret. And what I will say is, like, and I'll continue to say, like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna come. And the people who take advantage of those opportunities will benefit. And from those who don't, they may not benefit. I know for a fact I will be one of those people who plan to take advantage of those opportunities.
Absolutely.
I plan on being one of those people who benefit from those opportunities. That is why I'm so charismatic about spreading information, because I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, man, like, I never knew about that. Or why ain't nobody tell me it was millions of dollars being spent here? Why didn't nobody tell me I could have got a job? Why ain't nobody tell me I could have joined the union? So
you're definitely telling people.
Listen, man, and then, like, as I'm saying these things, then there are people who are in charge of these entities and who are in charge of these organizations who are paying attention, who are reaching out to me like, hey, here's some more information I have for you, or tell people this, because they need people to work and they want people to work. There's a want and a need for people to join the union. So this isn't like some secret club that you got to do like some funny, crazy dance to join. Like, they're like, hey, if you come here, we will help you. As a matter of fact, we want you. We'll come to you, and we need you. So it's more or less like, how do we engage with the people in our community to get them involved? And that's what I've been working on in the last couple of weeks, amongst other things. But yeah, that's just something that I've been like leaning into, because the long-term game of that and the impact, bro, is.
So look, we gonna bounce around. It's just me and you tonight. So you've been working on that. I got a couple things that I've been working on. I've been down City Hall. I had a couple meetings with some of the police officers.
Okay.
Had a meeting with some city officials
Okay.
inside City Hall. So what we want y'all to understand with social impact, that the plight of the black man, that we are well-rounded. We're going to make sure that we are covering all bases, and we
Right.
aren't out here just talking on these microphones. Like we are going in and trying to make stuff happen for our people and for everybody, really.
Listen, anybody who lives here, but I'm curious to know about the meetings, them police meetings and the city hall meetings, because I still ain't heard from nobody since I made my statements at that council meeting that day. So I'm with like, is there any goals coming? Is it just a bunch of talk? Is it a secret? Is it private? Like,
It's some goals.
it's okay.
We I got to sit down with a couple officers, and I got to express my point of view of what I see.
Right. Okay.
Why is the relationships so horrible? Why aren't officers treating us this way versus us being treated that way?
Right.
And I got good dialogue. I got
Right.
good feedback.
What was the answer to that question?
They want to work on it.
But I'm saying, like, when you ask why, or when you say they acknowledge it, I guess I would be curious to know, did anybody be like, yeah, you're right, that was wrong?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I won't jump into who I met with,
Right.
but just know that it is a little, I don't want to say static, but when they heard how I felt about that,
Right.
they understand what I see as a black man in
Right.
this community,
Right.
what happened into basically a black neighborhood.
Right, right. Because I hope we ain't talking one incident. When you get an opportunity to have a
and this
conversation
is-
like that, this
this
ain't
is-
one specific incident.
No,
This is
this is
about us as a
multiple.
community. You know what I mean?
This is multiple.
Right.
So I got to sit down and express what I would like to see happen.
Right.
I was offered a couple different scenarios with being able to help our community.
Right.
And the police officers understanding someone from the inner city
Right.
to go in and speak to them before they even get on these streets to patrol.
Right. So what do that look like, bro? Now, because this is
Look.
crazy, right? I'm glad because last week we didn't get to go. You know what I
Right.
mean? Had a conversation. So I guess like because I'm curious to know like from your perspective or your opinion as a black man, how would you like to see the police? Like not vaguely speaking, like how would you like to see the police treat us or interact with us in our community?
Number one, I'm a man,
Right.
so I need to be treated as a man.
Right.
When I look at some of these officers, I look at a 25, 27, 28-year-old.
Right.
I have sons that age. There's no way my sons is going to talk to me crazy, and there's no way that a 25, 26, 27, 28-year-old white officer
Right.
is going to talk to me crazy.
Right.
That's not going to happen. And the beauty of this conversation is I was able to say that just like I said it on this mic
Right.
to those officers.
Right.
Like, if we're going to have a dialogue, I'm not going to change who I am.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you get. And they understood that before we even got deep into detail.
Right.
I told them, what you see in public is me.
Right.
What you see on social media is me.
Right. But
What you see with this conversation is me.
let me because okay, so now like again, let's take it away from you
Okay, let's go.
about us. How should they be treating us?
They
What's-
need to
right.
they need to treat us as who we are. We are grown men. We are grown women. We are products of this environment.
Right.
Our people go to work every day. They get up. They go to work to take care of their families. So for a person to be disrespected as if they are less than in the community that they come from
Right.
is not to be tolerated.
Right, right.
And we have to continue speaking out on that. And that's where I was at with that particular part of that conversation. We cannot continue to be disrespected
Right.
in this city.
Right.
The people are from this city. These
Right.
officers are coming from Corey, Union City, and like they don't know nothing about Erie.
Right.
So that was one of my main focuses on making sure that we try to make the relationships better. And I understand we're here. We'll never be here, but we can get it here. And You know, it was a good conversation, bro.
That's
It was a
interesting,
good
bro.
conversation.
Interesting.
It was a good conversation.
Because like I don't know. I mean, like I said, like, and this is like I ain't heard from nobody over there, and I definitely was waiting for some conversation and some phone call. I don't know, my perspective would have been a little different because it's like when you as far as like how we should be treated, it's not more or less like how we should not be,
Right.
but how we should. You know what I mean? Because we've been dealing with stuff for quite some time, and it's gonna take more than having conversations with. You know what I mean? Like it's like they haven't been speaking of having a conversation with the police now that we on that subject. Like we have not heard anything from our police department since unless I missed it. We haven't heard anything from them since they closed the investigation as far as the consequences or even what's the process with the union and you know what I mean? What's the report on that or what's the update on that? So again, like when you asking them kind of questions, bro, and you having them type of conversations, you willing to publicly say it. You got to realize that they missed out on some things, and
they didn't miss out. But I ain't gonna.
I didn't miss out. I mean, it's been. I believe the announcement was made.
No, I ain't talking about that.
That's what I'm saying to you. But what I mean is, if the announcement was made by the mayor, like it's out of the hands of the mayor at this point. So now it's up to the police and it's up to the police's union. And if you get an opportunity to have a conversation with some police officers, that would be at least one of the things that I would be thinking. And then when you talk about treatment, if I'm being 100% honest, like it really didn't sound like you said much other than how we shouldn't be treated. I mean, I ain't even talking about with that conversation, but I'm just asking you, like, how should they treat us? And it's like, oh, I'm a man, like respect me as a man. But what about a woman? How should they treat our women? How should they treat our students? How should they treat our kids? You know what I mean? Because again, even outside of where they live at or how they talk to us, like it's still different things that can take place. Even when you talk about like the mental health emergencies and things like that, it's a lot bigger than how police just treat black men.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Although it's black men and social impact, but again, when it's like opportunities to engage and stuff like that, like don't allow it to be, what I say here or who I am is who I am, and then forget about.
We'll never forget.
I mean,
but I gotta. I don't. We ain't gonna have a back and forth with this. But I do gotta say, the way you handle certain stuff, is not how I handle it. So.
I get that, but I'm just saying when you publicly say it, I would have questions. Them are the things that I would be concerned with.
Absolutely, but I don't want people to get confused of like we supposed to agree on this because the way I handle situations,
absolutely,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah. We don't have to clarify that, but I'm just saying,
at the end of the day, bro, I had a good conversation with them, and we gonna move forward,
right? And the reason why I said that though, bro, is you got to also respect the fact that you've been having a lot of conversations, what they've been going in, and I divulge in mine, and it's not vague, it's very direct and specific. So. I mean, when you say like not going back and forth, it's just more or less like let's just be as open, with the conversation as we is. Because again, when I say I'm having these conversations, I'm talking about redeveloping. I'm talking about people getting jobs and having these programs, these pre-training programs for them to be able to go through the math classes and be able to go. So then, what I said, like it ain't a secret thing. It's more or less like, boom, we gonna put the information out there and let it be what it is. But you like again. It's a lot of money being moved around here, and we can't let nobody feel like they finna pressure us around or throw us around or, wiggle no little toys in our face and make us feel like, what do you say? They need to treat us like they treat themselves, fair, equal, and with respect. This is not happening. Excuse me.
I agree.
Yeah, I do agree. I think it's important for people who like to speak on those things. Like again, when I had that encounter with the police, it was crazy the way that they approached me, right? So again, it's like when you get approached like that and you speak to your concerns, it's like, okay,
how did they walk up on you?
What's the next day? He pulled up on me. Whoop, whoop. Pulled up on my car. I was coming out of country fair. Pulled up. Whoop, whoop. I thought he was trying to go around me, so I parked my car back into the. Got out. Where's your ID? I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know what they was looking for, and he just walked up to my car, like pretty much asked me my information until I told him who I was. Didn't have my ID. He left, swarmed around, but then that was a day. We talked about that. That was a day where the video happened and all of that. But again, I will say, like, every interaction that I've had with the police has not always been negative.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was having a conversation. I told people that, like, my uncle Jerome, he retired as a police officer at Erie Police Department here in Erie. I always thought his last name was Fries, but it's Freeze. You know what I mean? Like, I remember we was young boys. He was one of the cops at Central, so we would always see him in the ping pong room and stuff like that. When he was kids, had bass in the car. He pulled us over. Oh, get out of here, you knuckleheads. Putney done pulled me over before, making a left turn where no left turn sign. And all right, go ahead. Jim Spagle, I remember he kind of scared me straight. They thought we was stealing stuff out of the YMCA lockers. He pulled up on me and one of my friends, took us down there, had a conversation. So I've had like Pat Ginkle. I played football with Pat Ginkle. He's a police officer. It's a young dude. I don't know his name, but every time I see him, I'm like, I used to see him when he was a kid in the YMCA. Like, he big now. So now when we see each other, we fist bump and all of that. So it's never like, I've never had a problem with police. And it's not that I've had more negative interactions than positive interactions. So when I was spoke on that one, that was the one specifically. And then when other people speak to the things that they go through and the things that you see, like, we don't have to generalize it. If we can identify the one specifically who we know are doing these things, and that's, I believe, how we get to the point past saying it's all police officers, or we get past the point to the saying the police treat us like, because I will honestly and respectfully say I have not always received unfair treatment from the police, but I do understand, based on history, based on some of my peers' experiences, some of the mistreatments that they have had. But again, even working with the PAL program, like, I've seen some good things. I've seen some things that I don't agree with, but ultimately, the purpose and the goal is, there are more, I'm not going to say there are more good than bad. I've had myself personally more good or more positive interactions with police than I have negative.
Right.
And I've had some interactions with the police, and that wasn't just the one, only negative one. You know what I mean? I did make that clear as well, when I was having conversations, because this is not an anti-police, hate the police type of campaign type of thing, because there's people who look like me who won't even treat me good.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I mean, and we can kind of dive even into that too. You know what I mean? Or even because the other day I was doing a dog walk. I mean, we could talk about the generational thing.
Come on.
Like, because when you say the young cop versus the older gentleman and stuff like that, like, so, yeah, it's a lot of different things really going on. But yeah, I'm never I'm not an anti-cop person. I'm not the police are beating me down all the time. That's never been my agenda or my conversation. I do see that there are issues that need to be addressed on a national level.
Yes.
I do believe that there are plenty of police officers who are corrupt, or who don't know how to communicate with us as people, who don't treat us appropriately, or don't know how to interact with us, who are intimidated of us and who are afraid of us, and they act off instinct and all of those things. But on the flip side, I will not sit here and say I hate police or all police are bad, or I can't say that I've never had a good interaction with a police officer, because I will say that I have.
Right.
So there was a point in time where, like, police officers were in the community, they cared for the community. You knew their name and you knew their face. Now, but again, it's a, and I think that also plays a role in the generational thing.
Yes.
It's a change. It's a lot of retirees or people ready to retire and stuff like that. So
Yeah, because they was the cops that I grew up with, they my age. They 50. They in their 50s
Right,
now. So
right.
this younger generation is younger kids.
Right.
They're fresh out of college or the police academy. They coming into the city, and I'm pretty sure everybody said they coming in to make a change and they want to do this and they do that, and then it's something that sparks and changes the.
I think so. Here's the thing too, though, right? So even when you say that, like, it's a generational thing. So some of those police officers are younger, so some of their friends might be some of the young boys in the neighborhood as well. But then they just see you, you know what I mean? They might just think, okay, this is a regular black dude, so they're going to treat you like they treat them young boys.
Right.
You don't know them, they don't know you, but it's like, if you were, let's say, one of your nephews who they grew up in school with, they profiling. So again, we talking profiling. So it's still, even, I think it's a generational thing with that as well. Like, I think that the police, because they are younger police officers, and when you are a police officer, I believe you can retire. At one point in time, it was either 20 years served or at the age of, I think, maybe 45 or 50. So you're saying, like, you 53, so the police officer your age aren't on the street.
Right.
So they don't know you. They don't even know how to treat you, because they still look at it like the black men that they know and the black men that they grew up with are the wild ones that they went to school with.
Yes.
So they may, and I'm not making excuses for them, but this might be the disconnect, which is why we need to have those collaborative, opportunities and collaborative efforts to, like, deal with some of these things on a whole, because you gotta, we have to honestly admit that, like, some of these young boys be wilding out to where it's like, man, you was tripping. Like, I get it or I don't get it, but some of these police officers might be definitely afraid of some of the young boys and just treat all of us and they profile us like we are all the same and we all act the same.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, you can get, a police officer is going to get training.
Right.
But you're not going to get this training that a civilian like myself can give you.
Right. Right.
So
right.
that is part of one of the conversations that we had.
Right.
A civilian as myself will be going in and helping train some of these new officers.
Right.
And that's like one thing that spoke about is having a conversation such as you pull up to me and I'm rowdy.
Right.
Can you take that rowdiness? Does that rowdiness, does me calling you a motherfucker or fuck you,
Right.
does that set you off?
Right.
Or can you sit back and take it
Right.
and swallow it?
Right.
Some
Right.
people can't.
Right. No, that's
You know
real.
what I mean?
That's real. That's
And
real.
We had that conversation right there because everybody ain't gonna be a level head when you coming in, and it's
Right.
also like you said, it's mental health going on. Hell, somebody could have had a bad day and you fucking with him. He was just minding his business. He thinking about something. You pull up on him and you talking crazy to him.
Right.
Like, you
Right.
know, we have to change that type of behavior.
You see, said in many cases the administration is corrupt, and officers who come into the administration must comply. Those who fight back get ousted. Yeah, we definitely did see something like that where you know,
Yes.
somebody told and they lost their job. But then
that's
here's the
what's
thing,
killer.
right? I will say this on the flip side, and always I love to play devil's advocate
ahead.
sometimes, right?
Let's go.
So then it's like because all right, so how do we teach our people to calm down when they see the police pull up when we are in those moments? You know what I mean? And
Yes.
again, because when I say all police aren't bad police, and let's say you like you said, you want me to respect that somebody may call me a motherfucker. But it's like how do I, if I were a police officer, let's say I'm a white police officer, how do I get a person who's acting in that manner to listen to me and to comply with what I'm saying if I'm doing my job, especially if I'm not one of those officers that you people
Right.
are used to dealing with? Because again, if they're not used to dealing with that type of stuff and they're like, okay, and if that's the response, like, boom, okay, Malcolm, you training this, like, all right, boom, now there's a guy already, and I gotta listen to him, and he calling me a motherfucker, blah, 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 all of this is like, now does he feel like he's chumping me? Like, how do I respond to this? Do I let him have his way, or how do I get him to de-escalate? How do I comply as opposed to you saying to accept his behavior? Because I know, like, as a police officer, I would be like, come on, man, like, I get it, but like, you see me now, you know what I mean? That's kind of like, you know, like, I'm right here, bro. Like, it's whatever was happening, we have to stop it now. Whatever was going on, you know it's not about to be figured out in this
Right.
very moment.
Right.
You might have to come with me. That's the worst thing that I want to happen to anybody again. I'm playing devil's advocate right now, so by no means am I saying people need to let
Facts.
police take them to jail. That's
Right.
not what I'm saying.
You're not going
What
to
I'm
jail.
saying, you know what I mean? Like, how do we get to the point to where we teach our people, like, listen, man, we gotta calm down because on the flip side, if the officer doesn't understand where you're coming from,
Right.
at the end of the day, that is who the authority figure is. You feel me? So let's say,
I
for instance,
do.
the police sit there and listen, and I'm like, okay, you're right, Malcolm, we're going to listen to all of that.
You're right.
And then after you yell and you scream and you call me a motherfucker, and I say, okay, that's enough, stop yelling, and you don't want to stop yelling, when do I get to tase you? If you don't want me to touch you, I can't talk to you like a man.
Right.
You yelling at, I pull up, you yelling at me, screaming at me, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, that's enough.
Right.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, that's enough. Like, you're not a child anymore. At this point, you're a grown man. When do I get to tase you? And then do we as a community get to make that rule, or we get to make that call? Like, okay, if we gonna speak up to say this is how y'all want us to be, y'all want to be treated.
Look,
When do we get to have our way with it too?
unfortunately,
That's one of them tough ones that we
yes,
gotta be preparing
because,
ourselves for
look,
too, man.
And you know what? It ain't like I can sit here and answer that because I can't.
We can't. Neither one of us
No.
can. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like whooping the kid. And I don't want to compare it to like make the police be like our parents, but it's like it'd be so many times you could tell somebody.
Yes.
And if the training is to accept or receive this type of verbal slander, then it's like, okay, when do we get to train your people? You going to tell us what to do with? So I mean, like, but I do think that it needs to happen.
Yes.
I think that we need to have more opportunities to engage. I think police officers before the summer is over, it would be nice to see a lot more on bicycles. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's riding those e-bikes around. You know what I mean? As opposed to just driving around in them cars, especially after somebody got hit on the
Right.
car. It's like, okay, well, if you understand where we coming from, put yourself in one of those vulnerable situations to where the camera went off. Looks like your camera is unplugged. Especially if hold on, what happened?
Bear with us for one moment. I know y'all can hear us still.
But yeah, especially if it's been what's going on?
Give us one moment. Technical difficulties.
They can still hear us though.
Y'all still can hear us. Y'all ride out with us as we talking about how to
Yeah.
engage properly with police officers in our communities. and we trying to figure out where we left off at.
It's crazy. I wonder what happened. I definitely don't want to put it on that one. Put it on me. Let me see.
Bear with us, y'all. Y'all keep tuning in.
we now doing. Somebody
still
said that
here.
we now doing talk radio, but yeah, until we figure it out. Yeah, I feel like I did lose my train of thought, but like I was saying, especially when you're in one of them situations to where it's like, man, where was I at?
Yeah, we seriously trying to understand the parameters of a police officer and a civilian. How
Oh
does a
yes,
civilian deal?
building those relationships, especially if we talking about encouraging more of our peers and our loved ones and our family members to be police officers. It's like, okay, how do we build those relationships? How do we understand their perspective? How do we engage more? It has to be all of us. This is crazy. It has to be all of us. It can't just be us expecting the police to meet our demands and we ain't putting forth no work or no effort. But then I also understand, like, the police playing their part and they doing their role as well, because it's going to take the entire community. And I have been seeing some things from the mayor. And I know, like, a lot of people know I came down hard on her, so looks like your camera was unplugged. Plug it back in or something. Came down on her hard, but what I will say is from the things that she has been doing and the things that I've been hearing her say, like, she is definitely putting forth effort to make some changes and to make things better around here. And when it comes to building those relationships and when it comes to holding people accountable, that has been something on the agenda from what I have been witnessing so far. What about you? From what? Let me get. Yeah, matter of fact, give me your take on that while I try to figure this part out. Talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you've been seeing happening with local government.
I think she still needs a little time.
Right.
I think she's trying. Some people ain't willing to wait as long as others with the situations that's going on, and we all understand, like, you want something to happen right now, not now, but right now. And she's in a I don't want to say she's in a pickle, but she's in a position of trying to do the right thing for everybody, if that makes sense. Because I'm pretty sure Daria has a whole bunch of people coming down from every walk of life trying to make changes.
No, yeah,
for
absolutely.
themselves and others, but that's a tough job.
Man,
But you got a group of people who upset,
right,
and you got a group of people who don't like what she's doing. You got a group of people. It's kind of like how they Trump blame Biden for everything. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where she at right now.
And you know what? This is what I want to say, and I think that I've said this before, and I want to emphasize this, right? Like, people, it was not just the mayor's fault why we are in the position that we are in right now. Because if you understand, city council has to vote on things. They vote them up and they vote them down.
Yes.
So some of the things that they have voted on, you know what I mean, may have impacted the budget, may have impacted the infrastructure of the city, and some of those people who served at that point in time in council are still in those seats.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we also have to look at some of those people and realize and understand that we can't just leave this up all to our mayor. Excuse me. We also have to hold the people responsible who sat and served in those seats and expect better out of them.
Yes.
And expect them to do more homework and expect them to do more research, as opposed to just trying to blame it on the last mayor and then try to make it the new mayor's responsibility to hurry up and try to change something, because that's what we're not going to do and that's what we cannot do. But again, we have to take it into consideration as an opportunity for everybody to learn, and it's not an opportunity for just her to learn, and it's not her job or it's not her responsibility to just solely be the fix all for everybody.
Facts. And you know what? She got an open door policy, so
Do she?
yeah.
I ain't know
You
that.
Go down there and holler at. I mean,
I ain't know the open door
yeah.
policy.
Go down there and schedule, and she'll talk to you.
Yeah. I know she's accessible. I ain't know it's an open door policy.
She got an open door policy.
Yeah, but I will say that, like, as far as like people getting involved and understanding, like, there are, and that's another thing, like, as far as like a lot of these meetings and conversations that I've been having with people and going to these, like, there are a lot of people in a certain generation who are working hard to make changes and advancements for the city of Erie, PA.
It is.
And then there's also a generation of people who, like, there's also a generation of people who, like, I don't know if it's they're intimidated by it or they're jealous of it or they don't like it, but it's people who kind of still feel like, hey man, that's not the move, that's not the way. You know what I mean? And it's interesting to see how this is playing out and how things will play out in the future, because I know some people who are on both sides of those age brackets who are some of the people who are like stubborn and like this is the way we got to do it.
Right.
And then some other people who are like, listen, we're open to new ideas in the younger generation. And then I know some people of the younger generation are like, well, let's still take that into consideration that they know what we should be doing. And then there's some other people who are like, listen, man, it's only so many times and so many ways, and I'm gonna try to be polite about it. So it's definitely interesting to see how things are gonna play out around here in the city of Erie, because there are a lot of people who love this city.
Yes.
There are a lot of people who understand that there is plenty of opportunity in this city for us to build and for us to grow, and it's not all doom and gloom and it's not all complaints. So like,
Look, one thing that I see, and I can absolutely say, is that I see a lot of young people climbing in Erie. And when I say climbing, I see the extension of like where they started at the bottom and now, you know, they making some moves.
Right,
and it's
right.
a lot of young black men and women who are coming up. I looked at that under 40. Is it the under 40?
40 under
The
40, yeah. Shout out to the 40 under 40.
That's a group. Look, was you a part? You was a part of that at one time.
Yeah, I
right?
was I was class of 24. I was the Kobe year. 24, man. I
Okay.
did a lot in 24. That was my Kobe year. I
Okay.
snapped in 2024, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I like to see people getting their flowers in that manner,
Right.
Because the people that you see in that setting are really out here doing the work.
No, for real. Absolutely, man. Shout out to all of the 40-40 winners, because that's not just okay, because you can get as many nominations as you want. Like, people are sending nominations in, but I think that they have an actual process to where they sift through those nominations and they actually read the reasons why and they research the people. So anybody who received the 40 under 40, and this is not taking anything from anybody, but they actually like, okay, we're going to make sure this is not the most votes type of thing.
Right.
So shout out to all the 40 under 40 winners. I had a couple of friends on it. Dana Dickerson was a
I
winner.
seen Dana.
Charnay Dunstan, she was one of them. Phil Fromeyer, he was. Now I feel like I gotta pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up on the other screen.
Pull
So
it up. I think that's a great honor to be under 40 and an up and comer in this community.
Man, absolutely, and that's definitely something to talk about too, man. Because like I said, it's a lot of people who are interested in making changes and advancing Erie, and I love the fact that like the Erie Reader does a great job of recognizing those people. Okay, so I got the list in front of me, and there are some names that I might not pronounce correctly, but you know, first we got Wuji Ahmad. You know, remember Wuji was one of the panelists.
Yes.
This is Nadia Asif, Emily Baum, Emerson Bannon Cutry, Kyle Blackmer, Shannon Brown Stewart. I know Shannon as well. She works with Brandon Wiley over at Open Eyes.
Okay.
Spencer Caden, Gabrielle Catcherbone, Dana Dickerson.
Yes.
Catherine Cat Victoria. I know Cat as well. Like, you know, she was part of the JCLA cohort with us. She's running for, I believe, state rep out there in court. She's running against Jake Banta, I believe.
I think I heard.
Yeah,
that.
I believe Cat is running against Jake Banta. So hopefully we get her in there. D'Angelo Dixon. He was in the JCLA cohort as well. He's the guy that does the cameras at the city council and all of that. Yeah, he the dude who be running their cameras. Charnay Shar Dunstan, shout out to Shar. She's community school director over at Grover Cleveland.
Okay.
There's a Tiffany Fritz, Philip Fromeyer. I met Phil a couple years ago. He does a lot with the unhoused community, helping people with housing problems, homeless. He back on the train tracks, helping people with stuff like that. Kimberly Haslett, Jillian Heschke, Hillary Hoffman, Lori Haller Sela, Alyssa Johnson, Aaron Kerner. Like, listen, she just launched her Eventio.
I seen
app.
that was big.
Yeah, man, big deal, man. And that's
Real
that's
big.
not just an Erie thing. Like, that's a platform to help people like keep themselves together and all of that.
Yes.
So, yeah, man, and yeah, shout out to Erin because she got a lot of things going. Jessica Mando, Christopher Manser. I worked with Chris Manser up at Mercyhurst University. Bill Moon III, Carlos Mora. He walked somewhere like in Pennsylvania, like for ice and all of that. We was in the JCLA as well. Kylie Morris, she is one of the superintendents out there at Mill Creek Township right now. Dr. Kylie Morris, she was also award winner. Lori Ratter Spicer, you know Lori. She's second in command over at Erie. Maftuna Rakimova, I don't know who that lady is. If I apologize, you know, Nicole Rupp. Nick Samson, I know Nick Samson. He's a Radius member. He used to be working all night, like Rick a Heartbreaker. So if he catch this, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Him and I was like probably the last two people in Radius all the
Okay.
time. There's a Michelle Shrimper, Jamie Schumacher, Avery Shagnassi, Comfort, Holly Short, Jess Simmons, Neil Singh, Brenton Song, Bobby J. Selecki, Jaslyn Walter, Kristen Weibel, Olivia Wickline. So shout out to all of the Erie 40 under 40 winners this year. You know what I mean? It is an honor to be recognized. And
Absolutely.
again, 40 under 40, when we talk about, generations and young people trying to step into the spotlight, or even just like be recognized, it's always good for an organization to like acknowledge that. So shout out again to Erie Reader for recognizing those people in class of 2026. Congratulations.
They're putting the work in.
Absolutely. But again, bro, so even like going back to the conversation, like if we were to research some of those names and some of the work that they're doing, and we have realized how if we start collaborating with these people, and we start working with these organizations that they're connected to and a part of, how big of an impact it can have on our city and how we can build relationships from there. So, but then I just don't understand like how there are people who have always advocated for change and always said we need to be doing the right thing that aren't open to changes if it isn't their opinion. Is it stubbornness? Is it a power trip? Is it envy? Like, what would you think that was if it's like, okay, let's say, for instance, I'm always like, all right, we need to do this. We need change. We need change. We need change. We need different. And then I get to a certain point in my life to where people come to me and say, we need change. We need change. We need change. We need different. And I'm like, yeah, no, we don't. Listen to me. Why you think that is?
Look, it's a willingness not to change. It's easy to say what I want to hear.
Right.
But does that mean they're going to change for me because my vision is different from their vision? Absolutely not, especially if they already done conquered and they still conquering.
Right.
So how do we get them to open up? Because, like, I can go back to the 40 list.
Uh-huh.
Like, and we'll take, I know Dana gets a lot of examples, but she's opened a lot of doors for people.
Right.
I've just seen earlier that she posted that she sold her, she had $1 million month, I want to believe.
Yeah, in real estate. That's a milestone in real estate.
You know how crazy that is?
Yeah. I mean, trust me, I do. 'Cause
anything with $1 million on it is, come on.
Yeah.
We talking big money.
Right.
And
right. Shout out to Dana.
You know, one thing I see with her is she has the willingness to teach.
Yeah.
She actually gives back to the people who want it.
Okay.
Now, it's up to you to.
Yeah. It's up to you to take the gyms and she put it out there.
Yeah. But it's no different than what you're doing.
Right. Me and Dana, we good friends. Again, like, because that's what I believe. That's what just genuine good people do. You know what I mean? Like, it's information to share.
But the reason I point that out, because we're going back to, and we got to call it what it is. If a person is not willing to help us and they're on top, they're gatekeeping.
Hey.
We got to call. I mean,
I know a lot of people got an issue with that. You know what I mean? With that term. You know what I mean?
Gatekeeping.
The gatekeeping term, because there's so many different definitions and so many different ways people conceptualize that term. You know what I mean?
I get it, but when we're saying gatekeeping, that means like.
How would you define gatekeeping?
Because that means you're holding on to something that you don't want to let go.
Right.
When there's others who are simply asking, how do I get in?
Right.
Give me the recipe of how you got here.
Right.
Let me cook up something now.
Right.
I'm not trying to take away from you.
Right.
But to me, a person not willing to help somebody, and I know they see that person's vision, because a person is coming to that person with a vision. They're not just coming empty-handed.
Right.
They want to offer something. But some of these people might even be trying to take some of that vision from that person. Now that I think about it.
That does happen.
Yeah.
That does happen. Somebody said it means, Mo Tripler said it means one thing. Yeah, that does happen. Because like I've said that, like, how do I, and then I wouldn't say give me the recipe. It's more or less like leave the door open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you said that, like some people be intimidated by like, hold on, if I let you come where I'm at,
right,
you gonna outdo me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because some people feel like it's only enough for one. And people don't realize, it's enough for all of us. You know what I mean? Like we all can eat here. You know what I mean? Bro, like let me in too. Look, but it's like, and that's why one thing I understand, like when it comes to like myself as a man and some of my friends, like we've never been in the same room and felt like anybody was outshining the other. And I do think that when we think about gatekeeping or people not letting people in rooms, I think it's more or less because of the bravado thing. But then I do know I've had conversations with people who counter that and say like, anything that I do cannot stop you from getting to where you are supposed to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even if it take a little longer. And then there have been times where I've asked people to let me in places where I was not ready.
Right.
And if they would have let me in, I may have not embarrassed them, but embarrassed myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there are certain rooms that a lot of us will ask to be let into and don't realize, like, once you go through a certain threshold, you're dealing with sharks.
But you know what?
Who ain't got time for them ABC questions because they on XYZ.
Right.
And once you get in the room, it's like, okay, bro, let me come to the joint with you and blah, blah, blah. Okay, boom, I'm gonna open the door for you, but I ain't gonna hold your hand. So now when you go in here, nobody in this room is thinking I'm from the beginning.
Right.
Everybody here is like, I'm established. So there might be times where like I would have been in the room with somebody and be like, hey, you know, how did you get all of those loans or how did you accumulate that? And they just look at me like, this ain't the room for that type of conversation. Like, you supposed to be bringing something in here, not trying to come soak something out of here.
Right.
And there are rooms that I've been into where I'm like, I'm in the wrong place.
That was that
You
was
feel me?
heat.
No, for real, because there's been times where I went in like, okay, this is the time and this is the opportunity for me to go get my elevator startup pitch because I know all of the big wigs are going to be in this room, right?
Right.
So I'm going in there, pocket full of business cards, business idea, and when I get in the room, it's like, this ain't even the time for those conversations because they talking, all right, well, we got to broker this and I got to make sure I call this so we can get that 3-5% sent over there. And then over there, we got to make sure. And this is like, here I come like, hey, you want to hear my business idea? Like, yeah, no, I ain't got time for that. Like, we trying to make sure this helicopter get from New York to New Jersey because we got important people, important paperwork, documents. Like, if you want to have that conversation, go to that building down the street, Monday through Friday, blah, blah, blah. And then I feel insulted when it's like, that wasn't the room I was supposed to be in at that time.
But you know one thing about you? You a thinker. I guarantee if you was in that room.
I have been in that room.
Yeah, and you came up with something coming out of that room, regardless if you felt rejected.
Right.
That put you on another pedestal of, look, I'm about to learn how to play with these sharks.
Absolutely. But then it also made me realize that like I needed to familiarize myself a little bit more when I call people a gatekeeper. Because I will say that there may have been some people who didn't let me come to places with them and they were protecting me at that time.
Let me ask you this, because for some well-established people, they bring up, you know, they got a little side. I don't want to call them a sidekick, or it's an understudy.
Right.
Do you see any understudies under some of these well-endowed people out here in our community? Do you see the understudies starting to come up, or
White ones,
okay,
not black ones. White ones I do, not black ones. Yeah, no, that's a real thing. But what I will say is like, again, it's like younger people who are like banding together to go get the information, and some of us is going to get it from the older white ones.
right?
Because it's like, you know, when you think about it, it's like, who is the next up and coming for some of the people around here? I mean, and this is something I don't think, but we really ain't put too much emphasis on our conversation on it. You think about the MLK Center thing.
Yeah. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Because Mr. James Sherrod, like, you know what I mean? He served our community and been here for quite some time. Mercyhurst, football, all of that. Sherrod family is legendary in Erie. You know what I mean? We never knew who his next in command was, who his second in command was, if it was man or woman. You know, God rest his soul. He passed away.
Yeah.
Now it's a job search.
Right.
For a community center, not a school, not a Fortune 500 company, not for a community center
That I live in.
And there was no succession plan.
Right.
There was no follow up to the point to where we hire somebody from a different city, not a different state,
Right.
to come in here and try to have an impact on a community, because the MLK Center is not like trying to service the entire city of Erie or the entire county of Erie, to where like we could have, we needed to do that search. But even our own, one of our black leaders, if we're going to call Mr. Sherrod a black leader, and I believe that we should.
Absolutely.
When he passed away, and without him having any succession plan or him not having no second in command, it was just like, oh, what are we going to do now? And then what happened? Somebody from another place got hired, and now we don't even really have a say-so, or you don't even have that much of a say-so in what goes on at the community center that's in your community.
No, and I live in that community. I vote there.
And the person who's coming now has no idea what you all have been through for the last 15, 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And his data is going to come from a board of directors of people who understand what they should have did. And I will say this, and I have no dealings or no ties or connections to it. So I will say that I believe the board of directors of the the Martin Luther King Center or the NATO, whatever it is, I believe that they missed the mark with that hire. I have not met the guy.
Right.
So this is nothing negative or ill to say about him. I think even when you think about on a perspective of like, this is just a community center, not just a community center, but to have to do a search to where it went all the way out of the state and not even consider any of the responsible leaders or figures in the city of Erie who we know have applied for that position. And I applied.
Yes.
So this is not a personal thing to me, because I will say, based on what I've learned after the fact, I wasn't the best candidate when it came to, the budgeting and the financial part. So this is not woe is me, they should have hired me. This is more or less like, we could have filled that here.
Absolutely.
So when we think about like our elders in our community, and we think about our black leaders in the community, and after we continuously see this happening to us in Erie, where it's like some of our people who are ready, who are prepared, and who are equipped get skipped over when we live here.
Yeah.
How can we continuously look at some of the people who have advocated for us so long, who have been in the position of leadership, and be like, yeah, we can trust you because you're going to bring it home for us? Because this is what I will say. Who's next at the Booker T. Washington Center? Because Chantel been running that for how long?
Long time.
Who's next at the JFK Center? Because what's her name? Samella's been running that for how long?
Long time.
We don't know. But what I will say is like, and shout out to Jenny Haggerty up there at the Mercy Center for Women. Like, she has somebody in line that she's training and getting ready to take, follow up after her. You know what I mean? She's creating a younger person to understand the business aspect of it and how she's doing things for the Mercy Center for Women. And she is engaging with younger people to try to teach them and show them the ropes. I will say, for my experiences and what I say as a black man, I don't see that a lot from, but what I will say though is, as of recently, like,
look,
Marcus Atkinson, and Marcus is a younger guy though too, but he definitely didn't, take a liking to me and take me under his wing as far as stuff like that. But outside of that, you don't really see it. And I have been begging for years. So that could be a little personal.
And because I'm from that neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not from that neighborhood, but I've lived there over 20 years.
Right.
So I've had the privilege of going to the corner store and seeing Mr. Sherrard come in the store and have that conversation with him, because he know who I am.
Right.
I know who he is. His family lives on that block.
Right.
All up and down 4th Street is bits and pieces of his family. And I can 100% guarantee that they probably were not happy with that hire, because, number one, that person wasn't from Erie.
Right.
And like you said, no need, don't know him, never met him.
Right. So this is not a knock at whatever the gentleman's name is.
Right.
If you catch wind of this, or if anybody feel like they want to speak, this is not a knock at the new director. We do not know this man, good or bad or indifferent, to even try to make it seem like we're speaking about him, because that's not the case.
But again, I'm from that neighborhood.
Right.
So I've used services before that I couldn't get because I didn't have the money. They had a dentist office, eye doctors, all of those things that go in there. You can get your shots in there.
Right.
But I've always had the pleasure of going and talking to Mr. Sherrard without a question of who I am.
Right.
Hey, you're a Pulliam. Did you know my family house was on the parking lot of the King Center? That was my family's house before I was born, on that lot. So to talk to somebody that knows that area, that knows the Pulliams and the Pulliams and the Hortons are from the West Side,
right,
with the Blanks,
right.
Now you got somebody coming in from Ohio,
right,
who doesn't know the landscape of that neighborhood, because all of those people that live on the Lower West Side are from that neighborhood.
Oh yeah, that's a community. The Lower West Side is a community.
Yes.
I lived down there for a couple of years.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So the Lower West Side is definitely a tight knit family community, and it does seem like everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows what's going on down there. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out. But what I will say is, again, when you talk about the board of directors, I think that the board of directors for the Martin Luther King Center are all people who are from Erie or who have Erie roots. You know what I mean? And we can't say that every single one of them made a decision to hire somebody externally, but it did have to be a majority decision. You know what I mean? It was a majority ruling. So I mean, again, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and the impact that it will have. But it does send a message to some of us of a younger generation who are preparing ourselves to get ready, that we aren't considered or we aren't good enough, or they just overlooked us because of the things that have been taking place so long in history or over time. And then,
Look, and it's crazy that you say, because we talking about a secession plan. Guess who had that? The Booker T. Washington Center had that. That is how Brother Chantel got into the position.
what do you mean?
It was just when Mr. Jeffries was ready to go, Chantel was
Okay.
that was his right hand man.
Right.
He groomed him for that.
Right.
He groomed him for
Right.
that.
That's what I'm saying.
That was you didn't hear all this commotion and confusion about that. Mr. Jeffries said, I'm retiring. Chantel is here. He is ready. Boom.
There we go.
And that was that.
That's a succession plan.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you think hopefully from him experiencing that, he has one.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then even like again, when you think about, so there is the what's her name, Samela. I don't even know the lady's last name. I just hear her name all the time over at the JFK Center, like Samela. And then you got Mr. Horton over at the UCEDC. He's 74 years old. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what's his succession plan? Or is there somebody that's ready to sign up and take over that? And those are things that I feel like we as a community don't question, because we feel like, oh, well, you can't say their names and say what sounds like bad things. And it's like, it's not a bad thing. It's a real thing.
Yes.
Because we see what just happened with Mr. James Sherrod. So now we need to be thinking, if we concerned about these community centers and we truly are invested in them, like what's next for our community centers? And we can't let it be the sake of somebody's names that doesn't make us ask questions.
Right.
We'll question the police. We'll question the mayor. We'll question the county executive. We'll go down to county council and city council and ask all of these questions. But what we don't, when it comes to our black leaders, or when it comes to people who supposedly have the reins of our community, what we'll do is we'll try to take it easy on them. And I'm not saying to go out and publicly shame people, but also what I'm saying is, even on a private manner, how many people who you see bashing some of these people privately won't go and ask, yo, Dre, let me talk to you.
Right.
Yo, Gary, let me talk to you. Let me tell you about how I feel about what's going on. And I'm not saying that people don't, but what I'm saying is how many people do and how many people should, because we all sit around and talk about it. Or even we talk about the late, like again, Samela, I don't know her. I've heard things about her just through the grapevine, but I'm wondering how many people said those things to her.
Right.
So when we talk about succession plans in our black community, and we talk about people passing the torch, or not even passing the torch, but being better mentors and encouraging more people, I've done my fair share of asking for help and done my fair share of letting people know this is what I wanted, to where I wouldn't feel bad from just moving forward with my plans. But what I would encourage is for other people to feel like they've been tired of some of these things too, be able to express them, because you never know. Some of these guys might even know that we exist.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some of these older guys or the older generation of people might not even know that there's a you out there who wants to do better. Or there's a her out there. There's a him out there. Or there's a them out there who wants to do better, because they're so busy being wrapped up and mixed up in the mix. But I would say is at least give people the opportunity to know before you take shots at them.
Right.
But this is what I would say personally. I let them know. You know what I mean? And I ain't going to say take shots at them. I'm not going to publicly take shots at anybody, but I'm proceeding with my plans, and I'm not being admirable about somebody who I've been trying to have conversations with when those names come up.
Right.
And I'm not going to let anybody stand in my way or stop me from anything, because like I said, what we don't see is succession plans in our community. We don't see people pulling people up too much, and I'm not about to be trying to wait to solve that problem anymore. We're going through walls. If doors ain't getting open for us, and when we come through the wall, I'm not coming alone.
No.
You feel me? So I think people need to understand that, and it's not necessarily about it being a threat. This is a message like, either help us or you're going to need help.
And it's okay to have new blood.
They say old man for counsel, young man for war.
Look, it is okay to have new blood out here circulating with fresh ideas.
And it don't got to be from out of town.
No, it don't. And I mean, no shade, but it would have been nice to see somebody, from that neighborhood who has everything qualification-wise from that neighborhood to go in there and continue building not only James, his legacy, but setting your own for your own legacy.
Right. Right.
Like, I'm not knocking dude that's coming, but
Okay, we don't know. I'm about to look his name up right now.
but I'm just saying, like, he's coming from Cleveland. Is he bringing Cleveland with him? Cleveland and Erie is two different cities.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the thought process was for that.
Yeah. And again, we're not knocking him, but it would have been nice to see somebody from Erie, from that
Listen.
neighborhood. It don't even got to be from that neighborhood, but from Erie, who's put in the work, who went to school, who got the qualifications to go on and carry that. And it's like you said, we want to see our own grow here.
Right. People already know how I feel about when we talk
This is
about
why
Erie.
people leave. This is why our young people are leaving the city of Erie because
Listen.
they feel they can't grow.
No, for real, and everybody already know how I feel about when it come to Erie, and that's hiring. I can't find his information. I ain't finna search that deep for him. But when it come to Erie, like, because I ain't gonna hold you, man. And I know it was a seminar tonight for the new superintendent of the schools. Hopefully, people went there and asked some questions. But I was team Teresa Zumagala the whole time
Right.
for that job, man. And
Right.
I still believe that she should have got that job. I'm not gonna say I didn't give Dr. Gibbs a chance. Her and I have not had a sit down individual meeting. Like, we've met in public.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because she's very public. You know what I mean? So she be at all the events, you know, and taking all of the pictures and stuff like that, to where it's starting to seem like a campaign.
Uh-oh.
You know what I mean? And I don't know what the job has entailed, but then you see, you know, it's more people from out of town coming to get them jobs, when I know, like, I advocated for Teresa, and I doubled down on it, and I strongly still stand on it. And then even to see her have to be retiring, is kind of crazy to me. And then also what I will say is, like, the most interesting thing about a school board meeting, and when you speak up at a school board meeting and speak to their issues, the teachers recognize that.
Okay.
The teachers aren't allowed to go to the school board meetings, or even, like, some of them are intimidated to express their concerns about some of the issues that they see within Erie Public Schools.
Can I stop you for a
What
second?
you got?
Did you just say the teachers aren't allowed to go?
Well, they can't speak at the meeting. They can go, but they
They
can't
can go,
speak at
but
them.
they can't speak.
Right.
How is that conducive for?
Conflict of interest. I mean, it's they can go and learn. They're in a union. So when the teachers bargain, or when the teachers negotiate, they have to go through their union, and the union negotiates with the school district. So it's like a contractual thing. So if they go to the school board meeting, and don't quote me on this, but I believe that they will be speaking outside of their union and be just solely representing themselves as individuals independently and not part of the unions. So what we do, or what we have done in the past, was try to meet and have conversations with teachers to get a better understanding of what they have, some of their concerns. So then when we go present at these school board meetings, we know what we're talking about. Because a teacher can't come down there and be like, oh yeah, well, we know the principals in the school are treating kids unfairly, because then, you know, you got to think about the retaliation.
Right.
And then what they did was they may have skipped their entire grievance process, or they skipped the whole union procedure of there's a chain of communication as to how you address issues as a teacher. But some of them have been approaching me like, hey man, you made a lot of points, and they said it's a lot of funny business being going on with the money in the Erie Public Schools. And I know people probably brought that to my attention because they know that I won't have no problem speaking on that. But that's a concern of mine, man, when we talk about people coming from out of, because this is something else that I found out is Teresa Zumagala does not have children, right? She worked in the Erie Public Schools for 30 plus years, bro.
And they make. Wait a minute.
And she didn't just randomly retire.
There's no way she did, and I'm pretty sure she didn't want to retire.
Right. That's what I'm saying. She didn't want to. I don't believe that she wanted to retire, and then to get that much heart, that passion, that dedication, and to even go after that new superintendent job, and she didn't get it, and then to still stay there. Like, she didn't retire in the first quarter of her 3-year contract.
Right.
You feel me? And then for the position to be filled that fast, and then to be for somebody who's coming from the exact same city and the exact same school district as our current superintendent, like, I don't think that's right.
Wait a minute.
I don't think that's right. But then it's like, so this is the slack that I know that I'll catch is like, oh, well, you know, she's from out of town, give her a chance. Or, you know, that's a black woman, you a black man, give her a chance. And Teresa Zumagala was there with the last administration, and, you know, what did they do, or what did they accomplish? Why did you want her? And I'm only one person with an opinion.
Right.
So don't take my opinion as meaning that much or mattering that much. But what I will say is I feel like, based on my experiences with Teresa Zumagala, she was a very fit candidate for the job. And also what I will say is, and a lot of people know this, whether they want to accept it or not, is you couldn't find any information on Dr. Gibbs before she came to Erie. Mm-hmm. Like when she was applying for the job, and you know what I mean? All that, you know, go on to LinkedIn, couldn't find her. Google her, couldn't find her. You can find the other day, was a black dude that they was interviewing. You can find all his stuff. He had some stuff going on where he was coming from. They was like, we don't care who hired him, get him the hell out of here. Wherever he was coming from, they was ready to get rid of him. You know what I mean? Teresa, you can find all her stuff. So, and then we all know her. So then was people who had their gripes with her. You could talk about her. Oh, she didn't do this. She was part of the administration when it went downhill. Say all of those things. There was nothing good or bad that people could say about Dr. Gibbs other than she was a black woman who was coming from the South, who was part of a sorority that was the Divine Nine.
Right.
And she had a doctorate. Only the people who knew about her were the people who I believe interviewed her and the school board directors. And then you can even see now at some of those school board meetings, there are some of those school board directors who are like, oh man, maybe I made a bad decision with voting on this hire.
And she brought somebody from
What?
her former school district.
Up here. Soon as Teresa retired, they filled the slot within like 3 weeks. They said they did a national search.
Okay.
And it was people internal and external. And after a national search, the only person that they could find in the whole nation, and then she even identified at one of those school board meetings, she identified all of the states that they looked in. And after the whole national search and the Erie search and whatever they did, and all of the candidates that they had, the person who they found that was best fitting was somebody who used to work with her in the place where she came from. And I understand people get to bring their own administration in. Yeah. So if that's what the thing was, if that's the deal, I don't know if that's how that works there. But I'm an Erie guy, man. I mean, and when I say I'm an Erie guy, I know there are people in positions of power who aren't from Erie or people who I'm cool with, but they have roots here. So when I say Erie guy, I don't mean like you have to have been born and raised here, but like have a stake in the community, have an interest or show an interest in the community other than just taking pictures or, you know what I mean, just trying to do publicity stunts because, again, like I'm good friends with Brandon Wiley.
Right.
He's not from here. He has roots here.
Okay.
Angelica Spragger's not from here. He has roots here. Drew Whiting, not from here. He's rooting himself in here to where his children are born here. He has roots here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's plenty of people who live in Erie, who aren't from Erie, who I'm rocking with and rocking for, and there are plenty of other people that I can name, but what I will say is when I say I'm Erie. Teresa Zumagala should have got that job, and I haven't seen that many improvements with the Erie public schools to where anybody can be like, oh, he tripping.
I don't. I guess I gotta because Teresa's she's Erie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hall of Famer, basketball hooper, Hall of Famer.
She's my age. We high school together.
Right.
She was at Mercyhurst when I was at Tech. Like, so we had to graduate in the same time. I did not know because I'm not as adverse with the school district.
Right.
But I do have family members who work in the school district.
Right.
So I do hear bits and pieces of what is going on. But
right.
I didn't jump into that arena. But I did pay attention to when Mrs. Gibbs got the job, and I started to hear, she's from Tennessee,
right.
or she's coming from Tennessee, and then I did hear the other person that got that job came from the same school district, same area. Now that raises my awareness. Like, wait a minute,
yeah.
That's kind of
they said it's
wild.
another. So after we raised that, it was like, oh, well, there is another position if you know anybody. And then even one of this was crazy. One of the school board directors sent me, and I haven't heard from this person in quite some time. I hope they watching this and paying attention to it because like I even sent this person a message how I thought we were friends.
Right.
Until I believe I went to the school board meeting and made a statement a while ago, and I haven't heard from my friend since that moment. Right.
Okay.
So then when I went to the school board meeting and I said all that I said, then the superintendent was like, oh, well, there's other positions. If you guys know anybody who's interested in looking, let me know or tell them they can apply. And then the school board director sends me the link to the job, like, hey, just sending this to you in case you know any. I just sent 3 laughing emojis like, oh, coincidentally, now you thought to send this job to me after and I believe that those were one of the people who voted for Dr. Gibbs. But it's like, oh, now coincidentally, you thought, oh, maybe Deontay may know somebody who wants this job after I come speak. And that's the thing that I don't like when it comes to like certain people who serve on boards. Like, don't play with me and be performative. Like, I understand these people's hearts are good,
right? But
I'm not the one to play with when it comes to that type of stuff, man. Don't play in my face because I love to play. And I tell people I'm petty. I can get petty. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, I wasn't a fan of that, and that's what the laugh emojis were about because I sent them a high message, and I already said something to the mayor when, like, I thought we was cool and we wasn't cool, and we had to repair that relationship or whatever. But, yeah, I'm not to be played with like that, man.
That's just a wild whole situation because why I'm just stuck on the teachers are not allowed to speak their frustrations.
It's a union thing.
That is wild.
It's a way to go about it. You know what I mean? You can't as a teacher come and air out the school's business to the public. putting your job at risk. And then it's probably all, you mandate a reporter. So it's probably some type of privacy, anonymity type of, thing with that as well. But you can talk to concerned parents. If parents are actually like outside of being on social media complaining, having conversations with the teachers, but not just to check on the kids, but to ask the teachers like, yo, how can I be more supportive of you?
Right.
Because I remember as a point in time, and like I have issues with people around here still to this day. There was a point in time where we were having community meetings at the Booker T. Washington Center.
Okay.
It's when I believe it was when the shooting was at the Erie High. There's a student who shot off in Erie High.
Okay.
So like Tashawn Taylor had made a post like, we gonna try to, any parents come together. We're gonna have, because we had planned to have a community meeting at the Booker T. Washington Center.
Right.
We were gonna try to get as many teachers as we could to go, and get as many parents as we could to go.
Right.
So he made a social media status, hey, we having this meeting at the Booker T. Washington Center. Teachers, parents sign up for it or whatever. I seen it. I was part of it. All right, boom, let me make one too. I made a status, and I'm not sure if it was the way that I worded it or articulated it. Man, that thing went crazy. Teachers were sharing it inbox. I had teachers inboxing me like, who do you think you are? How dare you? I had to meet with Brian Polito about it when he was a superintendent, the union president. So what they thought was happening was we were planning on hosting a community meeting to have teachers against parents and to have them argue with one another about the issues that are going on in the school.
Wow.
So when I tell you, like, I'm not a big explain yourself type of person. When I'm telling you I had to break that thing down to so many, like I had to explain to so many teachers what I meant by that. And even I had a meeting with Brian Polito. I believe I met with Teresa about that time as well. But like that, what we were doing and what the plan was for us to go listen to the teachers and hear their concerns so that we can go advocate for them at those school board meetings, right? But listen, that thing caused so many issues and so much fuss to where like the Booker T. Washington Center or Mr. T told me that they said, y'all can't be having these meetings like this here no more because the Erie Public Schools funds
What?
the Booker T. Washington Center.
Whoa.
So they thought it was going to be causing so much trouble and so many problems for them. So they're like, hey, man, don't be doing that. So Mr. T like, hey, Deontay, I'm catching some heat. He was either working there or he's running his business through there at the time. So he like, you go ahead and take over this. I got some other stuff going on. And, he was promised some things.
Right.
So then he just kind of walked away from that. But, I mean, and that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day.
Okay.
But what I will say is we were trying to organize meetings and have gatherings to where we as concerned citizens, as concerned parents, wanted to hear the teacher's perspective because the teachers also are having a rough time dealing with some of those students who are our children. And they can't do some of the things that they want to do. So it's more or less, what can we as a community, we as parents can do to be more involved? And when we try to do that and meet with the teachers, we learned that teachers can't go to school board meetings and speak to certain things. They didn't go into details with us about that. But teachers have been talking to me about certain things that they feel or they're concerned with if I'm willing to listen. So nobody's ran me down and was like,
Right.
oh, I'm a teacher. I want to tell you all this stuff so you can go air some dirty laundry. It's been more or less like, hey, I saw your speech. I know some of the things that you have going on. I know you're an advocate for the Erie community. Let me talk to you about some of the concerns that I have, the things that I see. You didn't hear this from me.
So with Dr. Gibbs, because I don't see her like everybody else sees her. I don't know if she's in the limelight of Erie or being vocal or whatever. What does she present for us as Erie? I'm assuming that you've heard her platform.
From the things that I've heard, they got it's the hashtag BET. I think that it's building excellence together or something like that. So I think she's focused a lot on the curriculum and education. What I will say is I'm not 100% sure, but I did not read the strategic plan. So I'm not going to sit here and say she's not doing a good job of putting that information out there. I'm not saying that that information is not being put out there. When you say in the limelight, I will say that I see her. I go to a lot of places, and there's a lot of events, and I see this lady everywhere.
Okay.
Anytime, like, this is what I would say, right? And I don't want to make it seem like I'm taking no shots or nothing like that, but she's just as visible as Daria.
Okay.
Like, and Daria's our mayor. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the superintendent of the public schools is just as visible as our mayor. I'm talking at these luncheons.
Okay.
She's present at these parades. And I'm not sure if that's the role to do. Again, I've never been a superintendent. I'm not sure if like, okay, well, if you engage with the community, people will accept you more. But as far as like her engagements and how she's been out there, the information I have not heard about her or what her plans are as much as I've seen her take pictures.
And I'm just asking because
That's real. I mean, we have every right to be concerned because this is our city, this is our school
Right.
district we were raised by, and these are our kids. And I have kids in that school district.
Absolutely.
So I have every right to be concerned, and I'm doing my fair share of trying to get myself involved. But these are legit concerns, and it's crazy. Even when you saying that, like, that's how we're conditioned to feel like we got to tiptoe around things that are concerning to us.
Right.
Because like, oh, now I'm sure somebody somewhere is like, oh, yo, you got to see them. They tripping right now. They talking about Dr. Gibbs, and they don't even know. They ain't give her a chance. Like, yeah, no, like I said, from the door, I was Team Teresa. I don't know exactly sure what her plans are. I'm not exactly sure what her goals are. But what I will say is I've seen that woman everywhere.
Right.
I'm talking everywhere, bro.
Right.
And this is Celebrate Erie is coming up, so I'm sure she'll be everywhere for that, and it'll be a lot of photo ops, and you'll see those pictures all over the place. And again, if that's her role and her responsibility to do that, but I also would like to see what's the plans for our students. And I'm not saying that they haven't put that out there, but I would love to see that as much as I see her.
And that's the only thing that I'm asking, because again, like I have.
But there is a strategic plan out there.
It gotta be.
It is.
I mean, they just didn't hire her to say, "Come in here and smile."
No, they just passed it with the budget. That's why the budget went. I mean, taxes went up.
Wow.
I'm about to see if I can find it and put the link in the comments. But yeah, they did release a strategic plan and they voted on it. I believe 2 people voted it down.
Okay.
But yeah, a strategic plan for ensuring student success from 20. Yeah, it's right here. I'm looking right at it. So yeah, they definitely put the strategic plan out there.
Okay.
So we're not gonna say it didn't happen. Core beliefs, accountability, collaboration in the community, access and opportunity, excellence. That's what it is, building excellence together, student-centered. So I will say, like, again, I'm not exactly sure. I have not read this entire plan. I know some people who had some issues with it, Savannah Wilson being one of those people. But I'm not exactly sure what the plans are.
I did see Savannah at that meeting.
I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna see if I can put that in his comments. The strategic plan for anybody, because again, I don't want to act like we just dissing somebody and make sure the information isn't available. But what I will say is, we see Dr. Gibbs everywhere.
Yeah,
well,
and we want people that watch us. We want people that listen to the radio show to understand, like, you should be paying attention to not only what we doing at city and county council, but the school district is just as important, if not more important, than those things. Especially
Absolutely.
when you have a child
that's where our kids is at.
entering Erie High, East Middle School, Wilson Middle School, any school in the city.
Right.
Like, it's a lot going on. You know, we want to make sure that there's no hiccups with these uniforms that they got to wear. And all of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's a big thing right now.
It would be interesting to see if she would accept the invitation to come on this show.
Come on.
Or one of the school board directors. I know Zachariah would be, or Zachariah Sharif. I've seen his name in the comments a little bit ago. But the person who I would be interested to have sit in this seat is Jay Brenneman.
Fact.
Jay Brenneman. I would love to sit down and have a conversation with Jay Brenneman on a platform such as this, to where it can be completely open and transparent. I'm not exactly sure how much information he would be able to divulge, but I would definitely love to sit here and have that conversation with him, because there's a lot of information, a lot of good things coming for the Erie Public Schools as well. I do know that I did see, was it Dan Laughlin? Either Dan Laughlin or Ryan Bizzaro. You know, they made some things happen to where it's going to be a lot of money coming for, you know, the Erie Public Schools. And I know Dan Laughlin, regardless of, you know, how people don't like him or the things that they say about him, I know that he's a huge advocate for education, and he definitely makes sure that he does what he can, or in his capacity, for the Erie Public Schools, from what I see.
So can I back you up to go back to Jay, because I want to make sure people understand who Jay is and what he represents. And
Jay Brenneman.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason that you would want him to sit in this middle chair with us.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't know who you're speaking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? So can you just tell?
So I really don't. So I don't know much about Jay Brenneman. I know Jay Brenneman. He served on city council before, and I believe he ran for either county council. I don't know. He ran for another position before serving school board. But before he left city council, like, he released a bunch of information that pissed a lot of people off. You know, so there are a lot of people in the city of Erie who are in positions of power, authority, who act like they are afraid of him, or he is someone or somebody to be intimidated by because of his level of intellect, because of his knowledge, because of his connections and things like that. But he is the board chair of the Erie Public Schools.
Okay.
And he does have a lot of say-so, and he's a very educated man. Like, you know what I mean? He got his doctorate degree. I'm not exactly sure on what it is, but his name has been around here for quite some time. And I have not done enough research on him to be able to spit out all of his stuff right now. But I do know his name is heavy when it comes to Erie politics. His name is heavy when it comes to decisions. And his name is also heavy when it comes to research and fact-finding and finding out information about people.
Okay.
And I've honestly heard people say, like, Jay Brenneman is the last person who you want to be on their bad side if you have any dirt on your name ever in life.
Whoa.
And they said that he will expose it in a way to where it's like, he's not wrong. You know, and that's the thing that I like about civics and engagement and stuff like that is like, listen, man, if you come for me, you're going to find what you're looking for. So I can respect that aspect of it, but I would love to have a conversation with him because it seems like he has a lot of say-so and he plays a major role in a lot of things that are going on with the Erie Public Schools. And I don't think a lot of people understand his perspective or his viewpoint, and I would love to be able to sit and have a conversation with him so then that way we can get his perspective and we can hear from him as opposed to me being judgmental about him,
right,
or me taking anybody else's words or anybody else's opinion, because like I said, everything that I just said about the man was all things that I've ever heard.
Okay.
I've never had any personal experiences with this man to say he's a horrible guy.
Right.
I've never had any experiences with this dude to be like, oh, don't trust him, don't go around him. Know the seat he sits in. I know how impactful he can be, and I know how important his role is. So I would love for him to be able to come on this show and just let people know a little bit more about who he is. So yeah, that's who Jay Brenneman is as far as based on the information that I have off the top of my head. Jared, how do we get those shirts? The shirts ain't ready yet. We got some things to work out. But Malcolm did make a promise. Who was the 100? I'm glad that you asked that.
Oh yeah,
Because
I don't know who the 100 person
you were
was.
supposed to track that. We made sure we
I'm a
cleared
dig.
that,
I'm a
and we
dig.
said, Malcolm, make sure you take that one on because I ain't want no person. How do you even find that out?
It gotta.
I'm about to see right
we gotta
now.
be able to go in and see count from the 103 to 100.
Is that how many we got?
gotta
Let
be.
me see.
I
How
do
many?
owe somebody a shirt.
Definitely owe somebody a shirt. I'm glad that
We'll
we.
see who it is.
It's 107 followers. So yeah, no, I'm not exactly sure how you gonna track
I'ma
that one
figure it
down and
out.
see if it's a notification.
I'm gonna figure it
Two
out
others
tonight.
follow with you. Oh, I think it is a way.
You can go on the followers and
It's a way, but yeah, you said I ain't finna sit here and try
I'ma-
to pluck
I'ma
it away.
find-
You
I'ma
said you gonna
find it
figure that one
tonight.
out.
I'ma
So
find it
whoever,
tonight.
whoever follower number 100 was,
yeah,
Malcolm.
it's gonna get you a
oh, you a
shirt.
shirt? He'll get you a shirt.
I'll
Jared
let
said,
you
oh.
know.
But yeah, no, man. So yeah, it's plenty to talk about. I mean, even like before we wrap this up, like I want to emphasize the importance of I want everybody to be thinking, how can we get to a bag around here?
Yes.
And don't look at it like, how do I become a millionaire overnight? Don't look at it like, how do I get as much as somebody else is getting? Let's figure out what we can do within our lanes to get some money or encourage other people to get some money and uplift other people, because there is $100 million+ coming to the city of Erie for new development, for
Yes.
new projects, for managing projects, for building projects, for wiring projects, for putting pipes and plumbings in these projects. So then with that is opportunity when these workers come, because I don't want to make everybody feel like we just pushing people to the trades. They're
Right.
business people. When these people work, they got to eat lunch.
Yes.
So there's opportunity for restaurants to
Absolutely.
make money. You know what I mean? And if these people are coming from out of town and it's not Erie people, then they're going to need some entertainment. So there's opportunity for the entertainment industry. I mean, there's opportunity for the church industry, for the people who might be here over the weekends. I don't want to call it church industry, but sheesh, faith, whatever. However we going, it's church is a business. So let's just keep it real about that.
Faith
But
industries.
there are so many different things. There's so many different opportunities for us as Erie citizens to take
Yes.
advantage of these $100 million+ that are coming here. And the answer is not always college.
Absolutely not. And you already know. I told you that one of the things that I hate that I did was go to college
Listen.
instead of getting that trade.
Yeah, the answer.
That is one thing that I am not happy about, that I decided to go to college
Right.
versus going to trade school. I would have rather went to nursing school than
That
to
too.
go to college.
That too, because there's job security there. You know what I mean? There's definitely job security there, and I mean, people need to understand that too. We need to be looking at some of these jobs like, yo, some of these things is gonna make sure that we cool, we straight, we can eat.
Yes. Absolutely.
Hey, free agent wide receiver Daniel Debo Samuel is signing a 1-year deal worth of $7 million with the 49ers. Welcome back. News break.
I'm glad. I'm glad he's going back. I knew somebody was going
News
to pick him
break.
up.
I got somebody on her called Raquel Corded. Hello, everyone. Everyone wants to speak about money, but worried about the change. But what about change? Real sustainable healing change for me. Another thing that is, let me see. Another thing that is missing is a Native American influence. Despite us being named the Erie Natives, I feel that if we want to help the city, we have to heal the land and the word spirit here. Okay, so that sounds like, okay, let me put that up there so people can see that. Because some people might understand that. Hey, everyone wants to speak about money, but what about change? Real sustainable healing change. For me, when we look around Erie, and other things that's missing is a Native American influence, despite us being named after the Erie's natives. Feel that if we want to, yeah. So I don't even know how we would address that. You know what I mean? And again, like that's what I'm saying. So when people make comments like that, it's more or less like two things can be true at once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, so outside of that, like how do we address that, or how do we solve that, as opposed to saying everyone wants to speak about money, but what about change? Like money is change. You know what I mean? And money is important. You know what I mean? And that's how you influence things with money. But when you talk about the Erie's natives, that's a history lesson that I would probably have to update myself on whoever that person is. Yeah. Are you the person that's pushing that? Or are you the person that's informing people of that? And where can we get more of that information? So that's something that people can dive into and explore, because we don't want to discredit anybody.
No.
But I'm one of those people too. If I don't know something about something,
and I definitely can't touch nothing.
I ain't speaking on it. I ain't talking yet. Union trades, high school diploma, and a license. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what they've been talking about. That's what I've been learning. Like they're saying, and to get into those unions,
yes,
you have to have a high school diploma or a GED.
Right.
They want you to have a driver's license, and to be able to do basic math for measuring and stuff like that. So even for people who don't have a driver's license, we need to start working on getting that together. If that's paying fines, if that's figuring out, did you mail your license plate in and stuff like that, because those things are important for anybody who has issues with math. This is not nothing to be ashamed about, but this is more or less an opportunity for you to
learn.
Yeah, learn and brushing up your skills, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So he said, I'm on the team land. I'm on team land back, Raquel. I don't even know what that, again.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. It's interesting too. You know what, Michael, if you watching, like, I'm curious to know, like, outside of identifying problems, like in studying and researching, like what, how can we help you serve?
Right.
You know what I mean? I guess that's the nicest way that pause was. There you go. He said pause was the 100. Jared said that. But how can we help you serve? Because, and I will say that, and I had a conversation. Me and Jared was texting. Jared sent a lot of messages. You know, he know how we get down. But
yeah, I
asked him, like, how do you serve? And I'm curious to know that as well, because that's something that I see often. It's like, hey, what about this? What about this? What about that? Like, what are we doing about it? I do not talk about things that I do not know. So I'm not exactly sure about Native Americans. I'm not exactly sure about certain things. I'm willing to dive into information if somebody's presenting it to me, but I'm like, don't give me an assignment and make me go back and try to do all the homework and then turn it into a quiz, because I'm a nerd and I research things very well. And
she can.
All right, here she go.
Okay.
I have a nonprofit business. There we go. Okay, here we go. I have a nonprofit business of business plans. Hold on, I'm gonna wait till it pop on the screen. Nonprofit business plan, 55% complete right now, called the Tribes of Erie. Money is only one form of currency. We have to learn how to hold the currency of money and how to learn how to hold more energy in our fields. We are full of holes. The money going to fall right out of our pockets. I definitely understand that. We definitely need to understand the concepts of money. When you say, I have a nonprofit business plan, 55% complete, how can we help you get to the other 45%? Because again, when you talk about money, that may be an obstacle. And there are organizations who are paying attention to us who might be interested in helping you with that initiative. So if your business plan is only 55% complete, how do we help you get that other 45% and help you get it complete? That is something that I do pretty good with business plans. And I also have some friends who also are able to help fill out those business plans. So if it is just a clerical thing or information thing and you need some help with getting that thing typed up, then let's figure that out. And if it is a money thing, then there are also organizations that can help you with that as well. But again, I want to see you, and I want to see people who have goals to help people and who have missions to accomplish those missions and those goals. Because again, I don't want to sound ignorant to your fight. I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to discredit you, and I would love to support you with more information. So let us know how we can help you, or maybe even share in the comments how somebody can help you, because there might be somebody in the comments or who's watching this. We're on Facebook. It's on my page. It's on the Social Impact page. We're also streaming on YouTube, so we'll stay on YouTube. So You never know who's going to reach out to you again. I don't want to sound ignorant, and I don't want you to feel like I'm putting you down from not knowing.
And that's a good question because we don't want you to go away.
Right.
We want you to stay engaged because not only will you probably get the opportunity that somebody will reach out to help you complete that 45%, but you're also going to be able to teach us about some Native American things that we don't know about. She dropped jewel on us. And
Yeah.
neither one of us knew how to come back and respond to that. So you've definitely opened our eyes. And
Right. No, that's real. That's real.
One thing that we want people to understand is if you're going to present that, see it all the way through. Just don't type it in there. Like, reach out to us, inbox us, and let us know how we can keep that going so that your dreams are completed.
Absolutely, man, because I mean, again, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people. And when I was running, it was a lady who was kind of mentioning that. But again, I'm like, I'm not too real well-rounded in that. I don't want to come off as ignorant. I don't want to come off as offensive. So hopefully nothing that was said made you feel like that's what we were doing or trying to spin you or nothing like that, because I hate when that happens to me.
Right. Absolutely.
So I'm guilty of doing too much, not seeing through as well. Need checked. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, let's figure out how we can help build one another up and how we can keep moving forward and progressing. But my stomach rumbling again.
Look,
a little vegetable sandwich ain't doing enough for me.
Let me before we get out of
Go
here.
ahead, do your thing, bro.
I want to make sure that everybody keep paying attention to what is going on in Mississippi. Nolan Wells, Baby Cohen, those are big cases. If you follow my page, I will be reporting on those every day. I will post something. I want y'all to make sure that y'all follow a friend of mine out in San Bernardino, Taisha Moody. Her son was shot 11 times by San Bernardino police. I just posted this video earlier. It is very graphic, but he was unarmed, an unarmed black man. She's been fighting for justice for her son for 6 months, and she was ready to give up, but we're going to keep giving her a boost. I also want you to make sure that you are following Pure Michigan Made. Her son, Daquan, was killed in Grand Rapids, Michigan. After he was shot, he was attacked by the canine dog. I post that video every other day. Make sure you go support those two women. It's a lot going on in the United States. We all need to be safe. We all need to be paying attention. We all need to be moving as one. We can't have no more slip-ups. It's a lot going on. Again, Mississippi, bro, before we end it, I don't think I could live there. That has to be one of the worst states with the most trauma in the history of my life.
That's my family from.
Of what happened to some of these people, going back to Medgar Evers and all of that, and you still seeing stuff going on today. Again, they are boycotting Walmart for Baby Cohen. So
I'm ready to boycott Walmart. My damn self here.
Absolutely. They have a boycott going on because Walmart will not release the tapes of the shooting of the 1-year-old Cohen Wiley. There is a nationwide boycott on Walmart. And again, we are paying close attention to the Nolan Wells case. We know that situation is very iffy. How much more can you investigate without saying anything? So again, please follow my page, follow our social impact page. Keep joining that. Keep engaging with us. And I'm done with my spiel.
Absolutely, man. So again, for anybody who's listening, if you're still here, make sure that you download the Black Cess Media app. You can catch all of the shows on there. We have our 30-minute show on Monday. Then this is our live stream show. You can also go to blackcess92.7.com to listen to the shows and catch some of the music. Marcus has been doing a great job running different promotions. I know there was a promotion for free gas at Main and Sunoco. There was also a promotion for a free smoothie at Cafe 710, and he's definitely building up his sponsorship. So I'm looking to see what are some of the other promotional things that he's going to do. And also, you can catch us on WICU 92.7 HD2. But again, man,
Yes.
glad to have the opportunity to share this information and have these conversations and spread these knowledge. Like I said, again, let's make sure that we are continuously spreading good information and having dialogue, conversations that may be challenging, but are going to help us grow, because those things are important. And let's make sure that we are holding people accountable when we need to, so that in that way we can have some impacts on our community. But that's all we got for tonight, man. I got to eat something. Get something
Yes,
to eat, man.
peace.
Need me some more vegetables, man. Y'all have a good one.